What's up, everyone? Welcome to PopCulture.com's group chat, where we talk about all the reality TV news that we care about and you need to know. I'm Anna Rumor.
And I'm Jamison Brown.
And I'm JC Colston, special guest host this week.
Yes, JC, thank you for joining us. We're super happy that you are here and that you are here to talk about my new favorite thing in the entire world, The Circle on Netflix with us.
Yes, that's one of the shows that we'll talk about it a little more, but started it, thought it was just going to be terrible. Binged it all the way through. I love it so much now.
I watched it in one day and did cancel plans to finish it. So we're talking about that today. We're also talking the giant news out of Real Housewives of Orange County, where both Tamra and Vicki are out for good, as much as good means. We're talking about Jessica Simpson's new memoir, because she's been dropping a lot of the tea, and ending up with the Super Bowl. I did have to scroll down to see what the fourth thing was, because I keep forgetting that the Super Bowl is happening. I was like, I know.
I feel like everybody's forgetting. It's like it's in a few days. I mean, even my wife the other day was like, "Oh yeah, like totally forgot. Sunday's the Super Bowl." So
it is. I was making plans Sunday, and someone said, "Isn't that the Super Bowl?" I said,
Yeah.
I suppose it is. So we'll talk about that, because clearly we're very jazzed about it. But let's kick off with some of the most timely news of the week. The mass exodus out of Orange County. Friday, Vicki Gunvalson, the OG of the OC, revealed that she's leaving Real Housewives of Orange County for good. She was a friend of this season, so people were kind of not surprised, but a little disappointed to see her go. Or I wasn't a huge Vicki fan, but it's sad to see an era come to an official end. And then things got absolutely wild, because literally the next day, Tamra Judge, who's been on for 12 seasons now, announced that she was also leaving. So we have two of the oldest cast members on. Well,
Anna already tossed in the shade.
No, sorry, guys. I honestly couldn't even tell you how old any of those women are. They've all gotten so much plastic surgery.
They're somewhere between 25 and 74.
Just a big range.
Honestly, I have no idea. But now there is just una amiga left in the Trace Amigas. It's just Shannon Bedore, and my God, I bet she's pretty pissed off.
She's probably also terrified that she's next.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, right. Well, the interesting thing is, I thought Tamra's had a tough couple seasons. Vicki obviously has had tough couple seasons. So I wasn't sure whether they were fired or left. But then Tamra did a live with Andy Cohen, and she said,
I saw that.
She said that she was fired.
I went back and watched that Andy Cohen stream. It's on archived on YouTube. It was like he was in on Instagram Live, and he's like, I wonder if Tamra will want to talk right now. And she decided to answer. And it's a really neat video, because you think maybe she's going to be extra dramatic or try to save some face, but no, she seems pretty real in it. She just owns up to the fact she went camping with her kids, or I think not with her kids, but she just went camping and then got done camping, got back to some phone service, and she was gone.
So that was it? She was just fired and clean cut, and that was it? Or was it like a specific reason? Or
I think she does allude to the fact that, at least she says, that she does have some personal stuff going on, that she's kind of hinted she might want to leave eventually, but I think Bravo was just like, now's the time to go. Let's go. So, yeah.
Well, she has a difficult relationship with one of her daughters, who is like, do not put me on the TV show. Do not talk about me on the TV show. And then throughout the years, she's talked about her on the TV show. So they've had kind of complications there. I'm not sure if that's the personal issues. I know that her husband, Eddie, has some heart issues. He's got AFib and has a bunch of different surgeries for that. So I've talked to both Tamra and Eddie a couple times, and they've both been really, really sweet to me. But on the last couple seasons of the show, Tamra has gotten a really tough rap for just kind of being messy, stirring the pot, and people have been kind of calling for her to be removed. So I think that probably also has something to do with it.
And I mean, with the franchise, as long as any of the Housewives shows, you've got to have some new blood in there. You've got to shake things up. I mean, the producers know what they're doing. They're not going to cut someone off unless they kind of know the audience either wants something different, or they're going to be just fine without it. Maybe save some salary cap or something.
Seriously, because those OGs get paid so much.
Yeah, I mean, Vicki is like the first housewife. Like, she is the number one. So I bet, her salary was on up there.
Well, and Vicki at the reunion was feeling all sorts of mad because they were treating her like a friend of, which she was that season.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, she's also an OG. So she stormed out of the reunion. She was yelling, saying she was feeling very disrespected, all of which I kind of felt like they did on purpose. But I wasn't super surprised to see her say, you know, if you're not going to bring me back as a full housewife, I'm not coming back ever.
Yeah, to quote the rapper Birdman, she wanted to put some respect on her name. and like, obviously, I'm not super into the Housewives, so I don't know that for sure. But I know that the friend of status is like the biggest slap in the face.
That was my next question.
Yes.
So is that like, that's kind of like the demotion? That's kind of like them showing you, you know, okay, like here's like the kind of job before you go on your way out. Like, is that what that is?
So friend of is typically it's one of three things. It's either a punishment for a Real Housewife.
Punishment.
It's a way.
Oh my gosh.
It seriously is. If you look at Luann Lesseps in Real Housewives of New York, she had a really bad season, and then she was a friend of the next season, earned her spot back into being a full housewife, and that's how her journey went. Exactly. And then some people, they start off as friend ofs, and then if they get a positive reaction, they get they get a full, you know, peach or orange or whatever they're holding in their franchise. And then for some people, like Vicki, it was both a demotion, and then when people were really okay with her not being in every episode, they were like, oh, see ya.
They're like, well, you know, the crowd has spoken.
Yes, it's very interesting, the Real Housewives politics, but I'm really curious to see what Shannon's going to do, because those three band together and they can be kind of mean girls whenever they get together.
Yeah.
And I really like Shannon as a person. I really kind of like all of them as separate, but whenever they get together, they get kind of nasty. So I'm excited to see fun Shannon again, maybe. But I'm wondering who her alliances will form with.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Dang, I mean, yeah, Vicki and Tamra, I mean, they can get insanely vicious, like scary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a little afraid of both of them. So I hope they don't listen to this podcast to hear the things that I've said about them. I respect you both, but please don't come for me. I fear you.
Yeah.
I think Vicki said she's starting a podcast as like her next like venture, so maybe she'll just have like a diss back.
Oh yeah.
But if so, Vicki, if you're listening, I think you're great, really awesome. My favorite of the Housewives. This is all your beefs with Anna. I'm sorry.
You're just gonna DM her my address and see what happens. All right, let's move on. That's enough of the Real Housewives. My head's starting to spin. It's like Game of Thrones, but with like a lot more foundation.
Yes.
So let's move on to Jessica Simpson. We don't hear a super ton about her. She's pretty private in the last few years, but she is releasing her new memoir, Open Book. And the excerpts out of this book are amazing. I will be picking it up immediately. I didn't have any questions before these excerpts came out about her life, but now I have so many. Have you guys been reading them?
Yeah. Man, it's I think this is a great case of why or the things of celebrities looking so perfect online, but they're really going through something off of Instagram. Is she's talking about she's been an alcoholic for years up until about I think November 2017. Some terrible things happened to her in her childhood, troubles with her marriage to Nick Lachey, all these things that you wouldn't think of when you see Jessica Simpson, because she's always just been like this fun, bubbly blonde. I always think of like Daisy Duke in Dukes of Hazzard movie that she starred in. Just like such a fun Southern Belle, you know, type. But she's had a lot of stuff going on that she just has not come out about till this book, which has a great title, by the way, Open Book. Very fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
good.
gone. I mean, through a whole life too. I mean, like from abuse from younger age all the way through. I had no idea. I mean, these excerpts that have been coming out have been pretty hard hitting, to say the least.
Yeah, I always kind of sensed a little bit of darkness behind her whenever she was coming out, just because she was so fluffy and up in the air, and aren't I, you know, a good Southern girl, and there always seemed to be something a little bit like nefarious behind all of that and the whole rise to fame. But this memoir, I have so much respect for her. She was talking about how she took diet pills, which are basically speed, guys, for 20 years.
Oh my gosh!
Starting when she was
17.
Holy. 20 years. She was 17. It was her birthday. She's 5'3" and 118 pounds at that point, which is tiny, tiny.
Yeah.
And she got told she needed to lose 15 pounds, was basically like speeded out for the next 2 decades. She was drinking from 7 in the morning. She said she always had a cup of alcohol with her, and came to a low point when she was having a Halloween party at her house, and she'd been drinking since 7 in the morning and was like, I can't let my kids see me like this. I feel like a lot of celebrities, whenever they write their little memoirs, don't go into the realness of what's happened to them. So I have a lot of respect for her for getting into that.
Yeah, I second that 100%. I mean, to be able to come out and be that, I mean, truly that vulnerable as a celebrity, and kind of detailing all of these different things that are, some are on the smaller side, some are on the huge monumental side of what she's been through, and to kind of, get it all out there. I think that's pretty awesome.
And I think this is going to be a great thing for her, just to kind of get all this out in the open and be able to move on, because I was watching some interview clips with her, and of course that infamous Ellen interview from a few years ago has been going around where she's wasted and she admits that she was plastered during that thing. And then she was on Jimmy Kimmel either last night or the night before, and it kind of seemed like the Jessica Simpson that we kind of all know and love. She was cracking jokes, she was fun, a little bit ditzy, as Jessica Simpson always kind of been. So I think it's going to be a great thing for her to kind of just get this off her chest, and be able to get the Jessica Simpson that we've seen on reality TV with the Newlyweds and Dukes of Hazzard and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because I loved her on the Newlyweds. Newlyweds
Same.
was one of my favorite early reality TV shows. I remember, and I mentioned this to you guys the other day, just how disgusting she and Nick Lachey were. They were clearly had grown up in such a showbiz industry and with a lot of money. So there was just piles of laundry, like person high. They would just throw trash on the ground. I remember she was throwing out old flowers that were like rotting, and she just dumped the whole thing, water included, in the trash can. And was like, why is it not working? Absolutely wild. And I can't wait to read more about her newlywed days, because that seemed like so surreal and such a horrible start to a marriage. And she did say in one of the excerpts that whenever she said that they were going to get a divorce, they had barely even been talking to each other at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick was surprised because he never thought that she would actually go through with it. So I'm very glad that they're both in loving relationships now. And I definitely want to go binge Newlyweds now. It is a lot of it on YouTube. So,
I personally watched the Chicken of the Sea, Chicken by the Sea, Chicken for the Sea clip many times. That and the one where
That's
she is trying to figure out like why buffalo wings aren't actually made from buffaloes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
We love Jessica Simpson. That's just,
Classic episode.
We do love her. She's putting it out there. That's comedy right there. And we appreciate it. So while we go watch approximately 4 episodes of the Newlyweds, you're going to hear from our sponsors for a second. And then when we get back, we will talk The Circle and the Super Bowl. One thing that I'm obsessed with and one thing I couldn't care less about. So stay tuned. All right, we are back and we are diving into The Circle, Netflix's new reality show that could not be more difficult to describe. I was thinking all about it last night. This is my best go. They put strangers into different apartments. They can only communicate to one another via a messaging app called The Circle. They are tasked with becoming the most liked and most popular Circle player by the end of this 3 weeks, and you can be anything that you want in the Circle. So you can put up fake pictures of yourself, you can act differently, you can create a whole different persona, and you can catfish people. It sounds horrible, especially in the way that I just described it. But listen, okay, this is not just me. I was on their Instagram last night, and one of the challenges that they had is they got the cast members and they filmed them trying to describe the show in like 15 seconds or less, and no one could do it. So it's very complicated. You should just watch it. It's on Netflix. I watched it literally in one day. It's 12 episodes. It's an hour each. And so I watched it for literally half a day. JC, you also binged it.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I needed something on in the background, and they like have been promoting that so heavily in app. So the first thing you open up is like The Circle, and like you're like, what is this thing? It seems so stupid. And then you put it on, and it's stupid, but man, is it good! Oh, so good. That's like it's like prime reality TV. Just it's an interesting concept. Like the only thing I could even think of that's kind of like it, there used to be a game, like a reality challenge show called like Solitary, but that was more like punishment. This is very light. It's very fun. It's really cool just to kind of, it's almost like you're like hanging out with these people in your living room.
Yeah.
And the whole deception part of it, I wish they even would have leaned into it more, because not some people were just totally authentic, but some people have the deception thing, whether they're like, oh, I'm myself, but I'm like going to pretend I'm single and flirt with the opposite sex or the same sex. And then some people are totally new pictures, but the same personality. There's one guy who I think, we've talked about this. He's our favorite. He pretends to be his girlfriend.
Yes.
His name is Seaburn. His girlfriend's name is Rebecca. And everyone else thinks his name is Rebecca.
I referred to him as Rebecca the entire series, despite the fact that I knew his real name as a man. But my God, Rebecca is the best. I love him so much. He dove headfirst into portraying his girlfriend, but clearly doesn't know that much about women, it's just classic comedy. He had a conversation where the girls added him to a group chat where they were all talking about their periods and how they were all like cramping and stuff like that. And he, instead of, as you do when you lie, maybe being vague or skirting the issue, he dove in so specific and said, yeah, my left side really hurts.
No.
And all the women are like, is that where your appendix is? Are you okay? I've never heard of that
Has
before.
your
He's like,
appendix burst?
And the other thing he said, he was like, well, make sure you keep something warm in your system. And every other girl goes, I'm pretty sure it's the opposite. And he's like, I have to shower. Goodbye.
But yeah, like, it's just the perfect little balancing act of, and also you at home, and you see everybody, you know who everyone is. So there's all these moments where you're like, how do you not see that this person is clearly lying? But it makes for great reality TV.
Yeah, the catfish
It really
element
does.
I am pumped about. So
It leads to some really good moments. And the interesting thing that I didn't see coming about The Circle is how really heartwarming it is.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it could get really cutthroat and that, people are just lying to each other. But regardless of whether they're catfishing or not, I feel like all of the participants, well, most of them, a couple of them I wasn't a huge fan of, but I won't name them here. They were all very genuine to themselves, regardless of whether they had put a different face on or something like that. It really seemed like all their personalities were coming forward. And most of them seemed like really sweet, nice people that I want to hang out with. So by the end, I cried a couple times. I was really rooting for them. I won't spoil the ending, but like I did cry when it happened. And I just was super excited for them all to be friends outside of their apartments, and it looks like they're all hanging out together. It just makes me really happy.
Yeah, like it's because there's a couple people they don't totally vibe with, and there's an elimination structure, so they leave. But then by the end, like there's just so much love in this weird apartment complex via TV screens, and like it's just so pure. It's a nice fun thing that I don't know. It's not going to be exactly what you expect. It won't be as catty as a lot of other reality competitions that you'll come across.
It really wasn't catty at all. Whenever there was a disagreement or something, they pretty much hashed it out right away, or it wasn't that big a deal. It's really wonderful. I do have to bring up the other moment that made me laugh so hard that I almost spit my drink out. It is this one guy he's catfishing as a much different version of himself. He is an opera lover, very into the arts, not into sports at all, really loves cats. And he portrayed himself as this kind of like macho sports guy. And he got picked to do sports trivia during this trivia game. And they pan to him reading a book that says like sports on the front of it.
Like
it made me laugh
dummies.
so hard. Yes, it made me laugh so hard because that's 100% where I would get tripped up with. Speaking of getting tripped up in sports, let's talk about some sports.
Yeah.
We have the Super Bowl coming up Sunday with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. I did write that down.
I was gonna say I can see you reading that like line for line. Like
I don't want to get made fun of anymore. I already messed up the name of the Indiana Colts, I don't know. I messed it up once. I probably just messed it up again.
But
Oh, good. I'm consistent. You can say that. So we've got Shakira and JLo performing at the halftime show together. That's going to be iconic, obviously. And then I will open the floor to you guys because what are your predictions? I have none.
oh gosh. I mean, if we're going like pure play sports here, I'm probably going with the Chiefs. They have an amazing offense, and Patrick Mahomes is like insane good. So the Chiefs are my pick, and then on top of that, they haven't been to a Super Bowl in like 50 years, like 40.
sounds
Oh,
about
wow.
right.
It's been like decades and decades and decades. I don't know the exact number, but it's been a long time
Wow.
since they've even been to a Super Bowl. So
So everyone's losing their mind there, I'm sure.
I'm also gonna say Chiefs, and I'm obviously not a big football guy, but anything I see from Patrick Mahomes is just like incredible.
yeah,
Like the guy has a cannon like attached to his shoulder.
yeah, he is insane good.
Yeah.
At first I was like, did they change the rules? When do you get a weapon? Sounds great.
And also I kind of want them to win because I don't know if you guys have seen his girlfriend on Instagram. Her name's Brittany Lynn. I want to say, don't quote me on that, even though this is recording. But she has these absolute freakouts on her Instagram story every time
Yep.
that she wins. Her like face just looks like it's gonna just like melt off. She freaks out so bad. So I kind of just want to see one of those on a Super Bowl level.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so sorry 49ers. I don't think you're gonna make it. But that being said, I'm not a sports expert. I'm a little more interested in the halftime show itself because it is billed
Yes.
as JLo and Shakira. However, there's been reports and just the overall vibe of promotion that at least I've seen is this is kind of JLo's show. So I'm very interested to see how they're going to work Shakira into it. I'm wondering if it's going to feel tacked on or if it's really going to be more of a like meeting of the greats in the middle
like
of
an
the football field.
even 50-50
Yeah.
versus like a 70-30 probably
Yeah.
what it's gonna be. Yeah.
Well, I thought that was super weird when they announced that it was JLo and Shakira at first, because JLo is massive.
Yeah.
That's a huge get for them. She's huge this year. Everyone thought she was going to be nominated for Oscars. You know, it's just a massive year for her. So the fact that they felt like they had to bill her with someone else felt strange to me
Yeah.
because she sells herself. But Shakira is also iconic, and I'm excited to see them perform together because they both
Shakira,
have.
I will say Shakira has a really big like international audience. So,
yeah.
and I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure JLo does too, obviously, because of how large she is. But I think Shakira has like a known large international audience. So I'm wondering if they're trying to cover. You know, if there's like some reason that they're trying to get more of an international audience in.
Do people outside the United States watch the Super Bowl? That might sound stupid.
That's a good
That's a good question. I don't know that part of the equation, but you know, I am. It is kind of interesting that Shakira was like kind of tacked on into it as well, like especially on that opening announcement. I would have expected that to be like a full court press with just JLo, and then maybe after like a week or so after, they're like, and Shakira is going to join.
Yeah, like they did with like Missy Elliott.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like kind of like play it out for longer. I would have not banked on them doing it all in one hit like that.
Yeah, because I love her, but I just, her music's not super in the top. Although I guess JLo's isn't either, but she was in Hustlers, so she
No
gets a
love
pass.
for
She's
Jenny on
always
the
iconic.
block.
No, I just mean recently.
Oh, I don't know any recent ones either, but Jenny on the
Yeah,
block.
right.
No.
No, I mean, I have love for all of the Hips Don't Lie. That's amazing. But it's also, I think I was about 10 when it came out. So.
And you can
Or,
almost bank on like other artists coming out,
Yeah.
like in some form or
Pitbull.
fashion.
Fingers crossed for Pitbull.
Pitbull, yeah, there you go. He's calling it
Mr.
right.
I would
Worldwide.
love that.
I want him to do the
Oh,
Aquaman
man.
song where he covers Africa.
Oh,
in a very
yeah.
strange
Oh
manner.
gosh, okay, that would be
I
gold.
love Pitbull. Unironically, it started ironic and then it ended real. So many things do. I love him. All right. Any last thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Commercials. I don't know if there's any commercials
Oh,
you guys
yes.
want to get into. I'm really looking forward to the Doritos Old Town Road one because you're going to get
Yes.
Sam Elliott and Lil Nas X in a Wild West town at once.
Boy,
and,
they are
and
going
they
after
set up
that.
these dramatic teasers where they're about to face off with each other, but they did put out something on Twitter this week that's like a little snippet of them both dancing in the middle of the street. You are going to get to see Sam Elliott,
Oh.
Star is Born, and the ranch star, Sam Elliott, and other classic
You couldn't think of anything else.
They're gonna be like, he's gonna be dancing, he's gonna be boot scooting, maybe
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
shaking it a little bit
Maybe
to Old
boogie.
Town Road.
Yeah, and everybody's already seen it because the Super Bowl now releases all of their commercials like a month in advance.
Yeah.
It's such a bummer. That used to be why I watched it, but now that I can watch them all on YouTube immediately
Yeah.
after they air, I'm
There's-
like, well, see you.
There's just there's no more draw to that part of it. I mean, there is, because there are definitely probably like 40-50% that are not, you don't see before, but the other half you definitely see well in advance. And I don't know, it's just kind of a bummer.
Yeah, like Fast and the Furious, F9 is the new movie, and they're putting out a full trailer on Friday, and then they're going to play a shorter version during the Super Bowl. So everybody's going to already see it a couple days beforehand, and then you're getting less during the Super Bowl because I mean they're not going to pay for the full spot time because it's just that's a lot of money. I understand, but it takes out a lot of the charm, and it's almost like why are you even gonna do it? It feels less special.
Yeah, agreed.
I know. Now I have no time to go get a drink and snacks. Because before it used to be during the football, but now it's like, well, the whole thing's kind of bust.
You're just gonna hang out in the kitchen the entire game,
Oh,
and then
that's
JLo
honestly
comes on,
me.
and then you pop back in.
I'll pop back in for JLo. I'll fill myself with dip, and then I'm out of there. All right. Let's move on. Right before we go to our pop culture pick of the week, we are very jokey on this show. It's supposed to be funny and fun, but we would be remiss if we didn't mention the death of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and then the 7 other people. We've got the Orange Coast College baseball coach, John Altabelli, his wife Carrie, daughter Alyssa, basketball coach Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, and her daughter Peyton, and then the pilot Ara Zobayan. I'm sorry. We're obviously devastated by their death in the helicopter crash Sunday, and so we wanted to just mention that and say that our thoughts are with all the families, and that it was pretty horrible. So
Yeah, it was pretty tragic and pretty awful, and it's also, amazing to see how many people's lives Kobe touched, with everyone weighing in and just, with all of these various tributes. But at the end of the day, it's pretty tragic.
Yeah.
yeah. So our thoughts are with you guys. So let's move on before we bring you guys down too much, because this is supposed to be funny.
I already got like a
Jokes
sad
had-
feeling in my gut already. to
I know.
bring it up. It's just.
Jokes had to leave the room for that, but Jokes can come back into the room now. Jokes, come back. It's pop culture pick of the week time, and we need you again. So for our pop culture pick of the week, we talk about the moment from this week that really struck us, reality TV related or otherwise. Does anyone have one that really strikes them right off the bat?
Man, I keep doing this. I've got 2, and I'll be quick with them. So the first one is
Go with it.
Jessica Simpson and everything that she's coming out with. I just want to give like an ultra high five for that, because the older I get, like the more and more I value vulnerability and being able to like, actually truly be honest with people with stuff like that. So I just think that's an awesome thing to do. Huge high five there. And second, I was watching The Bachelor again, and I don't know if I would consider this a pop culture pick, but it's just an observation. This continues to be the absolute most cry-y season of this show I've ever seen. And I'm speaking in the context of The Bachelor here, and it's still, I've never seen so much. It's constant.
It is. It's really hard to watch.
So those are my 2 right there.
Yeah, I'm a sympathetic crier, and still they get nothing from me. Those tears are meaningless.
They're just spraying like their eyes before the camera rolls. Production just goes in, gets the artificial tears going.
Yeah.
Right, that's that Visine right there. JC, do you have one, or would you like to go last?
I have one that I'll briefly mention because I didn't want to go into full thing on it. Then I do have a full-on pick.
Oh, okay.
I will say I have been getting slightly into wrestling again. 'Cause
Yes.
This weekend was the Royal Rumble. It's the only wrestling thing I really watch every year. 30 people go into a ring and try to throw each other over the top rope. There's always fun surprise returns and everything.
Yes, people, it is that simple.
It's that simple. It's over dramatic. It's silly. It's like one of the best things about professional wrestling. And like Edge, who's this really awesome wrestler from the 90s and 2000s.
We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this because just for any wrestling people out there, I think Edge is the most boring wrestler of all time. Sorry, JC, continue.
He had a neck injury. He was forced to retire for 9 years, and he had to triumphant comeback.
Pop culture picks is getting really
It was a wonderful moment.
We have morphed into a wrestling
Jameson's like,
podcast.
see ya. Do something. Come on.
Well, I won't go any further into it, but it's always a really fun thing. It's the one wrestling thing I watch every year. I usually just kind of barely keep tabs, but man, I bootleg it every year.
There you go.
But my real pick,
FBI?
if you want a real pick, my favorite thing this week is Byte. I don't know if you guys have heard about this yet. It is the spiritual successor to Vine. It's BYTE.
Oh, yes.
It's an app where people just do like 6-second clips. They loop constantly.
6 seconds.
Yeah,
is that where we're at now?
Yeah.
I don't know if you were.
That's what Vine was.
Were you ever a Vine person, Jason?
I remember Vine. I remember Vine specifically, but I guess I'm just having a brain fart. I don't remember it being only 6 seconds.
It was like 6
Yeah,
or
it was
7, something
only
like that.
6.
I think
I
they
think it was
did
6.
later expand it. I think when people were like whining about it.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
the 6 was the funniest part. Because
Yeah.
being funny in 6 seconds is tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
yeah. So this is like a spiritual successor to it. They're trying to do the same vibe of it. It's less like TikTok, because TikTok's about the dance videos and dubs, and it seems like kind of, I don't know. It's
A little bit more production into it.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a little more raw and silly, kind of have a lot of that Vine humor or like the cool artsy things that were done on Vine.
Okay.
It's not all the way there yet because people are trying really, really hard to like be Vine again. But some of the great fun Vine people are back. Trying to think, Eric Dunn. There's a Gavin from all the memes. Everybody remembers the little kid Gavin.
What
The
about
reaction
Logan
memes.
Paul? I just love that guy.
I
No,
don't think he's on there.
I
And
don't.
I hope
Good.
I hope he doesn't, because the people like that, they should just go to TikTok. That's more their vibe. I like the silliness.
They should go elsewhere.
I like
They should go to
the-
YouTube.
Yeah, like I just love the distilled silliness and weirdness and skits and stuff that you can get on Vine without like having to pander. So Byte's trying to bring that back. It's not quite there yet.
Definitely
but
check it out.
Yeah, it's one of those things to kind of dive into.
Okay.
And watch some silly videos.
I can't believe that me, as a 27-year-old woman, will be forced to download Byte. And she already downloaded TikTok and is by far the oldest person on there.
How many
Anyways,
dance videos have you done already?
I have done several videos that are not getting any likes. They are very funny, but apparently not. But no one will ever know about it 'cause it's a secret TikTok and that I don't tell anyone about. My pop culture pick of the week. I'm tied between two. I'll just bring them both up because everyone else has. My first one, really quickly, right off the bat, the Bella twins, Nikki and Brie Bella, are both pregnant at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't typically have a soft spot in my heart for a lot of celebrities because there's a lot of them, and I'm busy enough. But I was filled with joy that they're both going to have a baby at the same time. It made me feel very emotional. I'm super happy for both of them. I think they're both adorable, and I can't wait to see them as moms together. So that's my short one. And then my big one is I loved Lil Nas X bringing out BTS at the Grammys in his amazing performance where he did basically every version of Old Town Road and walked around a revolving set. BTS was there, Mason Ramsey was there, Billy Ray Cyrus was there, of course. I've watched that performance like 7 times since then. It's so much fun.
I really love that too. I like that because there's all these different versions of it. A lot of people have listened and have their own different favorite versions of it. My favorite's the Mason Ramsey and Young Thug version.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And just to kind of see that all distilled in one full batch. And this kind of seemed like the last like big push for Old Town Road to get BTS there. I think Diplo was even there because he did a remix of it. Young Thug was not there, which made me personally very sad. I think Young Thug should be involved in everything, whether he's on a song or not. He should just be in every performance because he's Young Thug. But it was just really fun, a great kind of just closeout for the Old Town Road era. And then he did his new single with the actual Nas, from the 90s.
Yes, which
and
was so
later
much
on.
fun.
Nice.
So
I do want to admit that I didn't recognize Diplo because Diplo could be any man walking down the street and I would have no idea. So let's close this out. Don't forget to follow popculture.com. We've got all your up-to-date news. I'm on Twitter at Anna Rumor.
And I'm at Jameson G. Brown.
I'm at JC Colston.
So feel free to tweet us all of your thoughts about the things that we just said, or don't. Also, don't forget, rate, review, subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. We love your reviews, but only if they're nice to us, because otherwise they make us feel bad. And who wants to do that? So thank you for joining us today, JC. We are excited to have more of you in the future.
Thank you for having me. I'll send over like a contract of demands. And
Yes,
for the green room, I need a bowl of green M&Ms if I come here again. But besides that, yeah, it's been a great time.
Great. I'll have my people talk to your people. All right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.